Okay, let's get started. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to today's weekly Town Hall meeting, August 15th, 2022. Today's agenda, projects and development updates, documentation updates, marketing updates, collaboration updates, and Q&A. Robinson, can you please start us off with projects and development updates?
Sure, thank you. Last week in our process improvements, we discussed about essentially three items. One was the metrics, then the security and vulnerability management, and finally the GitLab cleanup. So we are currently evaluating a tool called Haystack, which is expected to give us better metrics for the project management. So this is based on a research project, a multi-year research project, which was later acquired by Google. I had actually read about it a few years ago, and so the new product manager had found this the same tool. So that was a happy coincidence. So we have started working with this at this point. I'll in the next slide I'll share a bit more details. And on the security and vulnerability management, we recently had a meeting with stakeholders, and one of the ideas is that from the DevOps perspective, we are doing certain work, and we'll be bringing in a quality gate using the DevOps process to address these vulnerabilities. And we are also actively tackling existing vulnerabilities across our product lines. So these first two items are in progress, and the third item also will be taken up very soon. This slide was supposed to be much more tidy, but I've just pasted some of the details from Haystack, so that's why it's looking pretty cluttered. What we're planning to do with the current this new tool Haystack is that this tool provides us with actionable insights, primarily into four categories: speed, frequency, bandwidth, and finally quality. So these are the speed in terms of how long it takes for a feature or an issue to be completed and reach production. That speed aspect on the left hand side. Then we also track the frequency. That is primarily using the deployments to production and other environments. For the bandwidth, which is the load on developers or other resources, that's been tracked using throughput. So that is also shown here. And finally, the quality. So this is our current organization-wise status at this point. This is not very accurate because we're not tracking all the projects and all the repositories at this point. So this is a sneak peek into what we'll be able to provide in the upcoming months. Essentially, our entire engineering activity will be categorized into four groups: speed, frequency, bandwidth, and quality. This is expected to give us much more better and actionable insights. So we're already able to find few things like older PRs and some of the outstanding issues, etc. Currently, we are in the process of streamlining the process, talking to the team, etc. So in the next few weeks, we'll have a much better metrics. So that's a major item in progress. On to the development updates, starting with the blockchain updates. Our primary focus is on Ethereum Suns, where we are having some challenges with respect to signing out transactions. So we've been explaining, we are exploring multiple options, and looks like we have sorted it out now. And on the Bitcoin Suns, we are bringing in a support for Lib Bitcoin, which will further streamline and enhance our Bitcoin Suns functionality. So these are the major activities on the blockchain side. This is our ongoing progress. So note that the number of tickets completed is pretty small. We only have a couple of tickets closed and merged. And we also have it's interesting to note that we also have two new team members. They are yet to make any core contribution, but I guess they are successfully onboarded and already on the job. On the Dex UI, so we have completed one of our major features and deployed this to production via version 0711. One of the major aspects that our Dex was missing was a secure Web3 wallet, a client-side wallet. Now we have the support for Wade Vault. This is available in production in the URL market.peerplays.com. And on the QA side, we've been doing an excellent job and managed to complete QA of two new releases. Really appreciate the work QA is doing on the verification of these releases. So here is our burn down and burn up charts. We had a large number of items closed. We had 30 items closed in previous weeks. So here is a summary of the details. We have around 28 bugs fixed and quite a few items in testing as well. We are like 5 items in testing, and it looks like we are in a situation where we don't have much bugs, and only verification of the items are happening. And there are quite a few security related bugs or issues open. I guess once we are done with that, we will have a very clean slate with XUI. On the next, again, our primary focus is on the alignment of the design, implementation, and functional specs. So we are creating tickets and following up with various stakeholders. And on the UI design side, also we are making progress. Another item that we are making good progress is, or almost completed, an action item of creating test cases. So we've been creating test cases in test management tool called as Sapphire, which is part of Atlassian Jira. So we have almost completed creating test cases for most of the specs. Also, the development and resource allocation plans will be in motion in the upcoming weeks. So these are our charts, burn up and burn on charts. Okay, other two projects, Block Explorer and JS Library. On the Block Explorer, we have completed bug fixes and other activities. We're just waiting for DevOps to do the deployment to production. And for the Peerplays JS library, we had, so this is in relation with our efforts to address the various security and vulnerability aspects. So we have addressed all the outstanding issues against the Peerplays JS library. And to test the same, what we've done is we have a development branch, and this is being used in other projects in development. So we are not yet merged on this to the master branch. Trade hands. Here we have been working with various items, like we had these NFTs with embedded data in the metadata, and we've been also trying with IPFS links. So originally we had not tested with PFS, the plain HTTP for various external data. So now we've been testing with IPFS links as well. And there is also an effort on improvising the code format, essentially prettying the code, and also addressing quality issues, which has been addressed by a linking tool. So this is our early progress. We have closed around 3 4 issues, and the next week, once the sprint is completed, I guess we'll again have a healthy screen picture. Okay, we have a new initiative, Together or Peer Share project. So this is primarily a project for onboarding users and gamification. This is expected to use NFT related features and lottery like features. So further details will be shared later. But on a high level, NFTs and lottery features will be shared. It will be used, and we're currently in a discovery phase. No coding or other aspects are not yet done. We have a documentation, and we are trying to figure out the next steps. On the NFT lottery side, we've not made any progress because the developer who's working on it is away, so we have not made progress in the last week. On the Python Peerplay side, we've been having challenges with the QA environment that is being addressed. Some of them are addressed, and we've also added support for the new test net in the Python library. And also the CI related items are being tackled. On the couch potato, the only item that's pending is packaging. So we have received the packaging, and now we have to be working on converting the packaging process using the CI. So that item will be undertaken in the coming weeks. So that's all from the development team. Thank you so much.
Very much, Robinson. Sean, documentation updates, please.
Hello, thank you. New for last week, we now have introduction documents for our developer and our infrastructure doc portals. So those are now the landing pages. If you go to devs.peerplays.tech or infra.peerplays.tech, you'll see these new introductions. New work upcoming this week. We are creating some new documents around reverse proxy and SSL, a new document for delayed nodes, and some updates coming to our Peerplays Dex user guide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. Sala, marketing updates and performance updates, please.
Hello, everyone. So in terms of marketing update for the last update, we started already executing the strategic planning for the social media, including the automation of our all plan. Also, we're still producing and writing articles concerning like most of the products. In the same time, as the team brainstorm for new ideas for the content for the social media, we're starting to gather the ideas and work on starting by this week or next week the new content on all social media, including the TikTok as well. In the same time, we are trying to redesign the Peerplays.com site to have a better design. And in the same time, since Avalon Forum is almost done, so we're working on doing tests for the signups and all the user experience in order to make it easy and smooth for everyone to join. In terms of performance update for the last week, we have a better, more users and more traffic to the site. However, the user experience is a bit low in terms of the time spent on the website and also the bounce rates. We are working like as I mentioned, with the new design, we'll be having better user experience. As for the social media performance for the last week, we started to post more on multiple social media. However, a bit the engagement is not the same compared to the week before. But we are working on the new automation and also the content ideas to get better engagement across all social media channels. As for the next is the email update. We sent last week the Townhall update as email for everyone. So we had a good open rate around 23% and good clicks on all the links in the email, including the Rocket chat as well. Finally, as I mentioned last week, so this will be always on the town hall, and we'll be updating it month to month in terms of tracking the acquisition versus the engagement and the conversion across the product funnel. So that's it from the marketing side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salah. Jonathan, collaboration updates.
Thank you very much. Good day, everybody. So this, as you can see, this collaboration update is a little different from the ones we've done in the past. Decided to bring in team members as well, since we have independent contractors all over the world who are contributing to Peerplays. I thought it'd be important that they get some mention because they are indeed also collaborators with Peerplays development and its success. In gaming, we had the Gaming Benefits Corp. We had a number of calls. The last call we had, actually, we had introduced Jean-Michel to the team. You'll see down in the dedicated team updates, he's new to management as the product manager. And with Gaming Benefits Corp, we finally arranged a call with him and their team in order for him to get up to date on what's happening with them so that he could better understand their needs and also to prioritize where they fit into all the developments going on with Peerplays. And in community, Avalon Meta Labs. So we had some more progress on that on the technical front. We had some issues in regards to getting proper OAuth 2 authentication working correctly with SSO. So there's been some back and forth on that in the past week. And this week, we're expecting to get an update that's going to resolve the issue, as well as incorporate a Zoom feature, which would allow for Zoom video to be part of the community. So that'll be pretty cool. We've also spent some time with getting the branding integrated with our setup, and also to start setting up the various groups that would make up the team space, or sorry, the community space. So that's what's going on with Avalon Meta. Sports NFTs. So on that front, I mentioned in the previous updates that we've started collaborating with a sports artist who is quite well known, and he's interested in working with Peerplays in regards to introducing NFTs. He's NHL licensed, which is awesome. And we've just spent some time in analyzing how we might be able to approach it in regards to doing a test sort of marketing approach. And we've put together a proposal. There's going to be other meetings this week on that. So there'll be more to come on that in the coming week. In esports, payments and events management, there's been ongoing talks in regards to that. The last talks we had was in regards to integrating with a credit union, which is getting established in the US, which would be tied to crypto. They're interested in being able to run that with esports, which would then also integrate with Peerplays, which means that payments processing would work directly with the blockchain, which is pretty cool. The credit union apparently is looking at also integrating with Everscale. For those of you who don't know, that used to be Ton Network, which was the play from Telegram in regards to trying to introduce some kind of blockchain play with their application. Unfortunately, the SEC came in and crushed them, but they came back with Everscale, and they likely did it right this time. So that's interesting, and that's more to come on that in the coming week. And so the dedicated team updates. This is long overdue. These team members that are being mentioned in this were people who have joined us within the last 6 months or so that have filled the gaps that we've had as an open source project. So with most open source development around the world, it's pretty difficult to have all the gaps filled in regards to what's needed for an open source project to really have all its needs met. So in our case, we've had some issues in the past with being able to find the right kind of talent in order to do that. So I'll just make some introductions for some of these roles of people who have come on board that are contributing to Peerplays on an ongoing basis. So for blockchain devs, we have Devor, Vladislav, and more recently, Mehebu and Timur, who is Timur is actually the newest of all that crew. He is just now starting to get familiar with how Peerplays works, but he's pretty excited about what we're doing. Devor and Vladislav are among the crew. You've seen the updates in regards to Ethereum Suns. Those are the guys that are primarily contributing to that. Between the two, Vladislav the most, but Devor has also been quite helpful in our most recent update with introducing the various stability fixes, which you've seen, as well as Bitcoin libs, which was also mentioned in Bobinson's update. So front-end devs, we've for the past couple of months, we've had Alexis on board. Alexis is a very talented front-end dev. He's been helping with the next project, doing great. Shashank, he's been working with the Trade Hands project, and he's been doing very well working with Chris on that. Quality assurance and testing. Ashwin, this is something which we've had challenges with in the past. We've been very weak in our QA for quite some time, unfortunately. But now with Ashwin on board, we're very excited about the prospects. Ashwin is now getting a handle on what's going on with everything to do with the front end QA, but he does have aspirations for moving into the back end as well. There is still the opening of having back end testing, which is I've actually referred to this as our mythical, like it's basically like a unicorn. Finding someone who's a back-end tester in blockchain is like finding a unicorn. And amazingly enough, we did find somebody who starts next week. You can see the star on the screen. 3+ team members start next week. Among them is somebody who is a new back-end tester who's coming on board. Very excited about that. He lives in the United Arab Emirates. And I'll maybe make an introduction on him next week. That's something to look forward to. Documentation. Bharati, she has been working with Sean in regards to documentation. And as you can see from the updates recently, we've been making some excellent headway on that thanks to her. So very excited to have her join us recently. And with management, as mentioned, Jean-Michel has only joined us in the last couple of months. And Ty, at about the same time, Jean-Michel is the product manager who's bringing everything together and bringing in the high level vision that is needed to direct things. And Ty is the program manager. So he's much more hands-on. The two roles actually often cross over in terms of what kinds of activities they need to handle. But between the two of them, because of the amount of work we have for our team and with what's going on with Peerplays, it's been very, very effective. So that's very exciting. And finally, this is last but not least for talent acquisition is Alka. Alka has been with us for just over 3 months now. And a lot of these new team members that we now have with us today are actually thanks to her. And so having her come on board was to help Peerplays to be able to find the right type of people to be able to fill the gaps that I've been talking about. And she has, in the course of the last 3 months, really knocked it out of the park. Coming into it, she's got a developer program, she got a developer background, but she also was more excited about being able to talk with people. So clearly development wasn't the space for her, but being in talent acquisition is an excellent fit. And because of her programming background, she understands, the degree of talent that people have in this. So she has been very helpful in terms of helping Peerplays to be able to fill these gaps and get the team all together as a whole. And finally, there are 3 new team members that are going to be joining next week. One of them I mentioned is a back-end tester. The other is actually for head of marketing. He will be starting Monday next week. And we also have for the first time, a community manager who's going to be coming on board. With the plans that we have and the increased need for community management, we have him coming, and he's quite excited because he's also community manager for several other crypto communities. So this should be good. And here, and so with all of this, the exciting thing about this update is that with these 3 team members joining us next week, for the first time in Peerplays history, we will be team complete. We will have no more gaps left in terms of what is required for Peerplays to be successful in its mission. And we now will be able to basically fire on all cylinders. It's interesting that this is the first time that we've actually reached this level. It's very rare, actually, in most open source projects to be able to do this. So the fact that we're here now means that we've got an excellent footing for what's to come in the future. And yeah, and everything that Bobson talked about, you could see that there's some new reporting coming out. This is all thanks to new management that's come on board. And we've got the bandwidth now to be able to turn things out faster, more effective, and with the same high level of quality, which we've come to be known for and have delivered on. So that is it for the collaboration update for today.
Thank you very much. All right, questions, comments, thoughts, Q&A. There's no new questions that came in from the community, so if there's none here, that will end today's Town Hall meeting, August 15th, 2022. Thank you all so much for joining us and have a great Monday.